coming. How are you? You alright?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you.
And, how did you spend your January and December?
January, December, I don't know, with the family really, really go anywhere too special. Went out a little bit for the boys from rugby, but that's about it really.
Did you have a good New Year's Eve?
Yeah, it was really good and really enjoyed it, spending with some good people.
So it was a good turn for 2018.
Yeah, good 2018.
Okay, brilliant. So how long have you been playing water polo?
I started around when I was about, I'd say about 8 years.
And how long have you been playing for Cwm Draig?
I've played with Cwm Draig all my life, 8 years again, yeah.
And why did you choose to play here? Who had the biggest influence on you, or what were your motivations to join the club?
When I started to play polo, really, it was just a taster session down Aberdeen. I started with a mini polo, and it was just run by the leisure centre. So I thought I'd give it a try, and I really enjoyed it. So I used to train with one of the representatives from Aberdeen. I used to take Lee Hopkins, and then Darryl came into the fold then from Aberdeen and brought a few more people along, and I really enjoyed it. So I came on board straight away.
And do you remember your first session with the club, the very first session?
As mini polo or as a junior? Mini polo.
Both of them. So
mini,
how did the others interact?
Mini polo, it was really good just to get a little bit of a taster for the sport really, and finding out I really enjoyed it. And then for the main water polo, it was a big massive jump from mini polo, being able to stand up and catch with two hands, but it was a challenge and I really like a challenge, so I thought I'd continue with it.
Was it hard to settle in, or?
It wasn't hard to settle in at all. No, they're really friendly, really greeting. I knew a fair few people from school and stuff like that, so it wasn't too bad for me, for myself personally.
Okay, so just an off-topic question, but did you watch the pinnacle championship last year?
I watched parts of it, and that stand over there is ridiculous.
Why? What do you think?
Well, the passing really, and the fluidity of the game. I thought, well, it was at that standard where there were very few mistakes, and everything had to be perfect.
Okay.
So it's really good.
Okay, that's fair enough. Yeah, so since your first day with the club, I'm pretty sure that you've had lots of unforgettable moments with the team, with the club, in the pool and out of the pool, but if you remember, what were your most memorable moments?
The most memorable moments? I would mention about the talkie, but I think that's been mentioned in previous interviews a fair bit.
How did you leave that talkie tournament?
Well, that was one of my first games, and I started off as a goalkeeper for the club, so that was a really good tournament for me personally, just because it was one of my first competitive matches as well. So to look at the standard of how it's played to now, it's, well, far more advanced, but yeah, I think that was one of my most memorable moments. Or the Manchester tournament and the year after. I think that was a really good moment for the club as well, finishing third overall in our second competitive competition, beating a fair few teams that were well recognised as well. So that was a really good standing point for the club.
And what was your most memorable moment out of the pool? So
out of the pool,
any social?
Socials. I'd have to say the presentation. That was one of the most standout ones. Or yeah, I'd say the presentation. Having everyone together and then going over the achievements of the club. I thought that was really a really good touch for the club.
And what do you think of our head coach Darryl? So has he had a?
What do I think of him as a coach?
Yeah, and as a person as well. And did he have a huge impact on you?
He did have a really huge impact on me because he really pushes you to the edge and he really tries to get the best out of you, whether it be in a nice form or not. He'll push you all the way. And I think he's a really great guy. He's done a lot for the club and he's really made a mark in the water polo community for Aberdeen and, well, sport in Wales in general. And I think that award he had for, I think it was Sports Coach of the Year, I think he thoroughly deserved that for what he did for the club and what he did for water polo in Wales.
Did you have the opportunity to play for Wales?
I've played in Wales a fair few times. Getting into the setup, I think training down Cardiff was one of the first things that really got me into it with the other boys from Wales, and they were a really good bunch of boys. So I continuously train with them, and then we train in places like Swansea, Carmarthen, Aberdeen on the odd occasion. And then, well, getting into the fold and get my first call up for the Wales national team, I thought, well, it was a really proud moment in my water polo career, and being able to score a few international goals and contributing to wins that we've had against nations like Austria, England, Ireland. I think that's a really nice touch.
What made Cwm Draig stand out for you?
Well, where I live in Aberdeen, it was an ideal club for me because it wasn't too far away, and I think it's one of the most homely clubs about, really introducing you and giving, well, I just think it's really one of the most hostile clubs around, and for travel wise it was more convenient for myself.
Okay. What do you think? How could the club become better? And how do you see our future?
Advertising, I'd say, getting our name out there, and I'd say get more of a mini and junior setup. So getting more players like myself and a few other players I grew up with in the water polo. I think getting that to continuously go throughout the years and filter out as many players into the Wales team as we can, just so we can, well, make the club bigger by getting quality players out of it.
How can you evaluate last year's performance in general, the whole year?
Well, it's certainly different to other years. We won a fair few games, and in previous years we just been annihilated in games that we've actually come out and won. I think there wasn't one team in the league this year that we couldn't have beat, or we did actually beat or drew with. But last year we won the Knockout Cup as well. That was a really good touch to end our season. So I think it gave us a really good mark for 2018, finishing on such a high, winning against Bradford and even with a handicap against us.
How did you leave those matches, every matches of the Knockout Cup?
How do I relive them?
Yeah.
Well, looking after every game really, and looking onto our next opponent. Then obviously for the Bradford one, beating teams like Newport, who are one of our biggest rivals, and Frome, who are in a division higher than us again. So that was a really hard match, and having to overcome things like being a player down or having a handicap against us. I just think the camaraderie of the team to come together and overcome things that were put against us was phenomenal.
Since we know our opponents for this year with the senior men team, what are your expectations for 2018?
Well, to win as many games as we can, to look at every game as it comes along. So to beat one team and then look on to our next game to try and beat them as well.
What do you think? Do we have a good chance for promotion?
I think we have a really good chance for promotion, and to retain the cup also. I think there's not any team that, well, they're all obviously a threat to us, but there's no team in the league that are better than us physically or technically. I reckon we can beat any of them if we play together like we did last year towards the closing stages.
What do you think? Which opponent would be the most difficult this year?
I'd say a mix between Devonport and the Barbarians, because they were hard teams for us last year, and we managed to either draw with them, beat them, or lose against them. So it was a bit mixed. So I feel as if they'd be the opponent. So Western Supermare, they can be a tricky team to play against, especially with the players that they've got from their club. I reckon they'll be a really hard team to play against as well.
What are your plans regarding water polo in the future?
I think to definitely carry on, to carry on training with the club and expanding the club, and also to try and get myself into the coaching setup really, and coach the mini and junior section so they can develop throughout the club as I did. So I feel as if that'd be a really good thing to give back to the club after all the things they've done for me throughout the years.
Round and round and round we go. Where it stops, nobody